Hello, hello, hello. So we're doing this vlog on Saturday. Not that it really matters for anybody who's watching this right now because you'll see it on Monday morning. So again, as I've talked about, my wife is away, and since my wife is away, I figured I'd try to backlog a few videos so that when we leave in a little over a week and we start dealing with RV park internet connections, I'll have a little bit of a backlog, right? Because that's one thing you have to think about, like, again, with things like workflows is what are you going to do if disaster strikes, or what if you're going to do if you run into problems, right? And so I want to train you folks to think that a new vlog will come out every day. But if a new vlog can't come out every day, what I can do is I can pre-upload a number of vlogs and then kind of put them out a little bit, right? So even if I only put out like I publish 2 vlogs per week, that's still 2 vlogs per week. So instead of, that's what I've been thinking about. So instead of the idea of I put out a vlog every day, unless there's no internet connection and then nothing goes out, well then, with RV parks, it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks with nothing. Nothing, right? So if I backlog some vlogs, what I can do is, while I'm uploading the latest vlog, even if it takes that like 3 days in that RV park, I can publish other vlogs that have already been uploaded, and so it kind of dribbles things out. Again, it's not perfect, but it should work pretty well. And then the other thing too with that is, like, right now the backlog will be the worst. Because I don't have a backlog, or it'll be keeping up with creating a backlog will be the worst because I haven't done it yet. But the idea is if I still do a vlog every day while I'm gone, then even though everything gets pushed up, if I'm still doing them every day, then the next time I go, like, I would really like with these vlogs, it'll seem a little weird, but like if I can be publishing, if I can have like a 2-week backlog, I think that would be the best thing, right? So I would publish a video tomorrow that I had actually taped like 2 weeks ago. If you're following me too closely, it'll be a bit of a disconnect. But if you're not following that close, I think that will be the best way to go. So anyway, so that's why we're doing the vlog today. Because again, like I say, the wife is away up at Rhinebeck, going to see a guru. And again, the more I talk to her about the business of gurus, the more I'm like, that motherfucker is a business to be in. Again, like everybody, like, it's so hard being like Eli the computer guy, because like I've spent all this time like, this is how you make money off of technology. And here's the thing that I want to tell everybody is, remember, I keep my ears always open. Don't get stuck in the echo chamber. Why most people are unsuccessful in life is they come up to some stupid-ass conclusion when it's right? They go out there and they see something and they learn that's right. But then they take that to their grave. Again, all these people arguing that the computer repair industry isn't dead. Again, whether or not the computer repair industry is dead or not is a bit irrelevant. It's not a business that you want to be in. Like, nobody in the computer repair industry is like, oh my golly, I'm going to have to hire 10 more employees next year to keep up. Right? It's like they're treading water, right? That's the thing, is you should always keep your ears open. And so that's where I was talking about, like, childcare. Like, I've talked with a lot of technology, or people want to get into the technology profession. And one of the things I've talked to them about is if I was really wanting to get, like, to the technology profession, I would do kid technology education. So let's see here. I can repair a computer and maybe get $50 out of it. Or I can charge $100 a head for 9-year-olds to teach them HTML. I can have 10 people, 10 kids, 10 or maybe even 20 kids in a class. At this point, have them bring their own computers. Again, which makes a hell of a lot more sense, right? But no, anyway, so like I said, I've been listening to this whole guru business. And the guru business, man, I gotta, like I said, I'm working on this fail normal deal. I'm working on this fail normal because, holy shit, like I said, because she'll go off like Byron Katie. Again, done great things. Again, I wish gurus did great things for me. I just sit there and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But anyways, like my wife goes off and does Byron Katie, loves Byron Katie. And she'll go off to these summer retreats and they're like $3,000 a retreat. And so I'll be like, oh, and like the last one she went to, it's like, oh, whatever, it's good for you, fine. But I was like, how many people were there? 20, 30, 50? She was like, I don't know, somewhere around 500. It's like, wait, what? Hold on a second now. Wait. So you're saying 500 people at $3,000 a pop. So it comes out to like 1.5 million, I think, for like a week. It's like, that's the business I want to be in. I don't know how we're gonna do it, boys and girls. But damn it, I like that whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, Eli, talking about $1,000 an hour, motherfucker. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I want 1.5 mil a week. You know, I don't get out of bed unless I'm gonna make $100,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so she's off doing the guru thing. And again, like I say, like listen, because again, all the stuff you hear out there about like how to be successful. It's frankly from a lot of people that aren't successful. Again, most of the people that tell you how to be successful aren't, right? And that's the thing you just hear. It's like I say, like Eckhart Tolle, or like, and I know people like in that whole movement. I actually, like I say, once I get this down a little bit better, I need to go talk to those people again, and you will be like astounded, like fucking astounded with money. But anyways, so she's off with that. I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, go, dear. Go, here. Let me write the check for you and take some notes for me. Take some notes. No, I don't care what the hell they're talking about. I don't care what the hell they're talking about. Tell me, like, how many people were there, and tell me, like, what kind of, like, treats they gave you during the day. And tell me what your schedule was. I want to know the logistics. I don't give a damn about that airy-fairy make the world a better place stuff. Fuck that. I want to hear logistics. How do they check you in? How do they check you out? How do they feed you? How do they house you? That's what I care about. But anyways, so I've been doing work on the house today, again, since the wife's away. It's easy, because again, like I said, there's a weird quietness to the house. Like, if you're not married, you probably don't realize it, but like when your wife, like, leaves, your spouse leaves, it's weird. There's just like this stillness in the house. And like I say, like it's not like my wife and I are like all over each other all the time. But like if she's on the porch and I'm up here, it's not even the same thing. Like even if I'm doing my own thing all day and she's doing her own thing, there's like a life in the house. And like with her gone, it just feels like so quiet. So I've been doing work today. Like I say, I was working on the HVAC ducting. I'm very happy with the whole HVAC thing, because like I say, the person who built the house did something really weird that kind of pissed me off, until I realized, ooh, because they did that really weird kind of sort of stupid thing, I can use that to save myself a lot of time and energy and material. So again, they ran a piece of ductwork really weird, but it was like 12 feet out of the way weird, and then I was like, ooh, but that actually gets me 12 feet closer to where I wanted to be. Yay! And again, like I say, that's one of the things in life is you always got to take a look at things and figure out, again, like things that seem like really screwed up in the beginning, you're like, damn, this is stupid. And then you'd be like, damn, stupid in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, been working on I Love Me Wall a little bit. I finally got this. This is one of my diplomas that I'm proud of. It's off from the Air Force and the Coast Guard way back when I did search and rescue. But again, one of the things to be thinking about, like with people's mentality and understand how they look at the world, is again, if you look at what I did as a young person, National Search and Rescue School, Executive Protection, you know, Anne Arundel Community College, law enforcement, military, again, National Guard, blah, blah, blah. And if you look over here, you go, all my rescue badges and all that kind of stuff. But basically, you know, when you're a young person, when you're a young man or woman and you go out into the world, the first lessons you learn and the first ways you are indoctrinated really stick with you, basically forever. Like from the army, right? I still remember how to make the grass grow, and I still how to make the grass green. Well, Eli, tell me how to make the grass grow and how to make the grass green. Blood, 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 drill sergeant. Guts, 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 drill sergeant. What makes the grass grow? Blood, 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 drill sergeant. What makes the grass green? Guts, 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 drill sergeant. I even still remember the bayonet drills. Like, it's weird. It's been like 20 years ago. But like the bayonet drills and butt stroke to the head. That's actually a thing. God, fuck, that would suck. But anyways, it's not as fun as it seems in the movies. Taking an M16 butt stroke to the head, you're just not going to be like, oh, look, I'm knocked out for a minute. That's kind of crack your skull pretty bad. But anyways, why that comes up is just something to think about, like with all the material, is again, when you think about, like where I come from in life and like those first lessons that were indoctrinated in me. Again, search and rescue school. Those that wear this emblem are members of a select group of outstanding professionals in the humanitarian endeavor of saving lives. Okay, that's a bit of, mumbo jumbo, but, and are always ready that others may live. And that's one of the things to understand about so many of the things that I do is this is something I took to heart way back when. Right? That is something, like even now, even as I do all this, technological vlogging or whatever, and however odd it may seem, the reality is, back in the day, and even now, my natural instinct is to put myself in the way of harm to save other people. Again, just through the randomness of life, I have found the best way to help other people is to sit here in front of a webcam. But, like I say, if you ever wonder, like the mentality of how I do things, it really is. I had one of my instructors way back when. He would talk about that with law enforcement or security, and there was always a question, like what the students would say. The students would say, "How do I know? How do I know if this is the profession for me?" And he said, basically, there's only one way to know. And he said, when the gunshots go off, there are two types of people. There are people that run away from the gunshots, and there are people that run towards the gunshots. Here's all you have to know. You don't need a PhD, you don't need all the instruction, you don't need all the training, you don't need all that. All you need to know, are you the type of person to run towards the gunshots? If you're the type of person to run towards the gunshots, we can work with you, we can figure it the hell out. If you're the person to run away from the gunshots, well, find another job, vlog, I don't know, right? But anyways, again, just one of those little mentality things. And then so everybody knows, since people for some reason seem to be taking this whole Louis Rossmann thing a little bit too seriously. I actually watch Louis Rossmann. I'm actually watching his Do You Bend the Rules for High-Paying Clients? And I'm kind of surprised with his answer to this. I'm not sure what would be my answer. But anyways, I don't know, there's so many people like, oh, you and Louis Rossmann, what is going on? It's like, God damn it. We're just being guys, screwing around, having a pissing contest. Can't guys screw around and have a pissing contest anymore without everybody losing their crap? It is so funny. Like, Louis and I are having our nice little pissing contest. I say some things in my videos, he says some things in his videos, there were some comments or whatever. But at the end of the day, we email back and forth quite a bit. Like, literally, actually, for when I'm traveling. And we've already talking about, I think what I'm going to do is, if I can't upload at RV parks, I'm going to put, however many videos onto one of these hard drives, and then actually send the hard drive to Louis, so that he can use his fancy, cool internet connection to be able to upload the videos. So, I mean, again, like I say, I don't know what people think is going on, but I feel comfortable enough with Louis Rossmann to literally make him a manager of the Fail Normal YouTube channel, which does have some security policies that he can't do anything too stupid. But again, I'm willing to make him manager of my YouTube channel. So I don't know. I don't know why people are taking this thing so bad. It's just like, I got a couple of comments today on my my Louis Rossmann bet, and it's just like, I don't understand. We're just two geeks having some pissing contests, motherfuckers. What the hell's wrong with you? We're having fun. I don't know. Again, like I say, the drama's in your people's heads, not ours. It's so funny. Like, I see the comment on his voodoo thing, and I see the comment on my Louis, and you see some people like taking this shit seriously, and you're like, dude, that's not. Anyways. Honestly, the only reason I've stopped talking about Louis Rossmann, and I actually am intentionally stopping talking about Louis Rossmann a little bit, just because I don't want to jump the shark with that whole thing. I feel like we can really milk this pissing contest for a long time. I think if we, you just gotta, you're rubbing that udder. You can't rub it too hard. You can't pull it too hard. You guys just gotta do a nice milk stream coming out of that udder, and I think we can milk this whole pissing contest for like a good year. But in order to milk the whole pissing contest, you can't dump too much out at one time. So yes, I'm actually intentionally trying to talk less about Louis Rossmann, but it's not for any like pissed off reasons. It's just I feel like we've kind of like overdone that whole conversation a little bit. So I'm backing off. So we can come back at it later, right? Yeah. So anyways, that's a thought. So the big conversation that I want to have, the big talk that I want to have with you folks today, is this whole idea of who gets to define bullies, right? Because this is an interesting thing, right? We talk about labeling and we talk about basically calling people certain names. And it's curious, especially in the modern world, this idea of why do some people get labeled certain ways and other people don't, right? And so this bully thing comes up right now in the whole YouTube world, right? And again, I talk about YouTube not necessarily for the drama, but again, when I talk about YouTube, this is something that is all completely out there in the open, so you can go and do your own research and you can decide whether you agree with me or I have my head up my ass. But basically, this whole idea comes up because there's been a lot of this argument, and there's been a lot of buy-in with this idea that people that try to defend their copyright claims on YouTube are bullies. Right, and that they're bullying people and that they're using the legal system nefariously to screw with legitimate YouTube content creators. And again, as I talk about this with where's the fair use and all this, at this point I've done a lot of videos, so I'm not doing this for clickbait. you know what my opinions of all this stuff are at this point, right? But it's very interesting because this comes up with the current predicament with H3H3 Productions. So if you don't know about this, Google search H3H3 Productions sued, and there's a whole list, right? So H3H3 Productions is Ethan. Oh crap! I forgot her name again. I feel so bad when I forget women's names. You should be more impressed that I remember his name. Don't focus on that I forgot her name. I remember anyway. It's Ethan, like his wife or whatever. Yeah. And they do H3H3 Productions, and they do reaction videos, and they do. I mean, it's fine quality. It's good production quality. Not stuff that I watch. With this whole brouhaha, I went and watched a few of their videos and went, God help me, I can't deal with this anymore. Not because it's not good quality stuff. It's like quality stuff. It's just not my kind of thing. Like I don't watch The Young and the Restless. Nothing against Young and Restless. I just don't watch The Young and Restless, right? And so basically they do reaction channel. They do, this popular YouTube crap, right? And so on one of their second channels, so they have two channels, I guess, and so on their second channel, they did a reaction video about this guy, I guess it's Matt Haas, the bold guy, who does these videos that are even fucking weirder than H3H3, to be honest with you. I saw some of his, it's just like, oh, what? Okay, whatever. Right, but basically, they did a reaction video where they used, apparently, they used like 3 minutes of his content in a 14-minute video, right? But what's really interesting about this is, so then he contacted his lawyer and he contacted them. And they've been going back and forth on this whole brouhaha to the point that he decided to actually sue them. There's a couple of other things. So they did a copyright strike against the video. They did some other things. And then Matt Haas actually decided to take them to court. Well then, so they did a video talking about being taken to court, and they said it could cost them up to $100,000, and they could legitimately lose the court case. Philip DeFranco, another person that I watched like the first half of Philip DeFranco. That's one thing with some YouTube content creators, is just to realize you don't have to like everything that they do. Like I watched the first half of Philip DeFranco shows, and then I just don't watch the last half. because the first half is good and the last half usually sucks. But anyways, so Philip DeFranco did this video on these folks getting sued, and they didn't ask for any money, and he said, well, screw that, we should defend this whole copyright thing and with where's the fair use. So he created a GoFundMe campaign for them, for the defense of them, and said, I'm going to throw in $5,000 and you all can throw in however much money you want to throw in. And so at this point, we go over here and we just take a look at it. So Help for H3H3 by Philip DeFranco. And we can now see it's now up to $153,000. Just so I don't understand about life. And I've got like $79 in Patreon. But anyways, apparently these guys are worth $153,000, right? And so now that they have this legal defense fund, they feel pretty good with going off and being able to try to fight this thing in court. They may lose, but at least they have the money to fight in court. They're doing an interesting thing too, and we'll come back to this later, where they're not actually accepting the money outright. What they're doing then, and this is an important thing with this, and when we start talking about what the definition of a bully is they're not taking the money outright. What they're doing is they're basically putting the money into an escrow or a trust or an LLC or something like that, where the idea is it will be a different entity than them. And again, this is one of those ways you protect your money, right? So if you get sued, all your money and all your possessions are up for grabs. If other entities have money that you can control, that's not your money, that's the other entity's money. Therefore, if you get sued, they can't go after that money. So just like with an LLC, more or less, with an LLC, if my company does something stupid, I can sue the LLC, or somebody can sue the LLC, but they shouldn't be able to come and get my money because the LLC is a different entity than I am. On the same hand, if I go and run a kid over with my car and somebody sues me, many times they can't get to the LLC or the corporation money because the corporation is another entity unto itself. And so that's why you create things like trusts. That's why you create these legal entities, because you can have control over the assets and resources of the entity without having ownership of the assets of the entity. There are rules and there are laws and there are things you have to jump through, but this is a way that a lot of people protect things. So what they're doing is they're taking that money and they're putting it into a legal entity that they will then become a client of that entity for a number of reasons. And so one of the big reasons with this is that what they're saying is, since they're the first client of the entity, then for their legal requirements, they will take money from that entity to pay their legal bills. But then whatever money is left over, they will then use that to protect other people from frivolous copyright claims. And so that's where it goes in this question. Again, like you're like, well, what does this mean? Well, then we go over to time.com. This YouTube star got sued, raised $130,000, and wants to change the site forever. Wants to change the site forever. Now here's the thing, and this is where the whole bully concern and all that stuff comes up, because you folks know where I stand on a lot of this fair use thing. Again, I believe with fair use that there is fair use out there, but again, it is using the absolute minimum that is required to get your point across. Again, I just showed you a little screenshot of the website for H3 for the thing, and I showed you a screenshot of Time. I did not scroll through the entire thing of Time. I did not show the video in the background. I don't have their image up here, their video going. I don't have Philip DeFranco down here going. Because how would that be fair use? That wouldn't be fair use, because I don't need that to get my point across. I need a screenshot to show you that they actually, in fact, have $153,000 in the GoFundMe campaign right now, and I need the screenshot of Time to prove the point that what they're trying to do is so significant. It's not significant that Time.com is doing it, but right, that's not, your local WordPress site, at least it's something, right? So I show you that, and that is what I would consider the minimum, that is the minimum required to get my point across. That is fair use. That means if you're interested in this, you will Google search H3H3 Productions sued, and you can find the GoFundMe, and you can find the Time, and you can find videos from Philip DeFranco, and you can find their videos, and you can watch that all on their monetized platforms so that they can make money off of it. So right now, I am making money, few cents, off of doing this video, which is my legitimate right, and then they can make money off of when people go to look at their content, which is their legitimate right. And again, I keep arguing about this time and time and time again, that what I am doing is fair use. And the reason that I know that it's fair use is because, again, 6.5 years ago in 2009, I spent a lot of time looking at copyright law. I took a lot of time looking at this stuff. And again, what I realized is copyright law, or fair use really isn't a set defined term. And so it is something that is granted to you in this kind of ephemeral way, and that basically at the end of the day, every single instance of fair use can be litigated in court and decided one way or the other. And so that if I'm going to use fair use, content for fair use, that I should be 50 frickin' miles from the border, right? Because that's how it should be with fair use. There shouldn't be a question about it. It should be rather simple. Again, a 65-year-old grandma should look at it and go, well, the bold boy is being an idiot. Whoops. If you think a 65-year-old grandma isn't going to side with you, don't fucking do it, right? Because that's the thing. Fair use is in the eyes of the population. Fair use is in the eyes of the people. So here's the thing, and this is the thing, like with H3H3 Productions, and they say, well, when we go to court, we feel that this is fair use. This is fair use. But when we go to court, the people in court may not understand fair use good enough, and therefore we may lose. No, it's not that they don't understand fair use. It's that they don't interpret it nearly as loosely as you do. That is not their ignorance. That is your arrogance. And again, so I would argue with this whole thing with fair use is you stay 50 miles from that border. Again, I showed you those images. That's all that needs to happen. You don't need to have a video of Philip down here, and you don't have to have a video of Ethan up here. You don't have all this stuff. I can talk about all these things, show you a few things, and that's all that's needed for fair use. And so why this comes up is that the YouTube community is aggressively trying to shape the argument of fair use in a way that profits them the most. And again, what gets lost in this whole conversation, one of the reasons I talk about money a lot, right? A lot of people get really snarky about me talking about money. Eli just has this thing about money. He's always got to talk about money, right? Which, okay, legitimate complaint. I am an Aspie. Money I find very curious. Again, they say with Aspies, like the Aspies that are most successful are the ones that get hyper-focused on technology and the ones that get hyper-focused on money. It's like if you see an Aspie and they're hyper-focused on technology, money, or the law, then the world's the limit. They're like, amazing. If you're an Aspie that gets focused on stamp collecting or comic books, that's very sad. But again, like I say, it's all a flip of a fucking coin, right? Same mental process. You see that Aspie that's like hyper-focused on stamps of the world. He has the same mental process that I do. Thank the fucking monster. I did a guy that's focused on stamps of the world. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so we're talking about this thing with with fair use. And so basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the definition of fair use to suit them and to suit them financially. Again, that's why I talk about the money, is because, again, a lot of people, when they look at YouTube content creators, even now, again, I still get the question is, yeah, well, what's your job? It's like, I create YouTube content. Yeah, but what do you do for work? Again, like one of the things that's always funny, my wife is a little snarky with me, is like, when I'll be asked, what I do for a living, I'll say I'm a YouTube star. And she's always like, oh, again, how everybody gets, oh, you're a YouTube star. But what I have found, again, I use words for a specific reason. When I say I do YouTube, or I'm a YouTube content creator, the next question is always, what is my job? If I say I'm a YouTube star, somehow that gets through people's head, and the next question is something other than what is my day job. But so why I always bring up the money is because people are making a lot of money. Again, if you look at H3 Productions, they've got 1.5 million subscribers. So again, we'll go here and we'll do a little bit of fair use. Again, let's see here. So if we do H3 Productions. So if we look at it, nope, there we go. They've got 1.477 million subscribers. If we go to the About page, they've got 166 million views. So you figure, like on Eli the Computer Guy, I've got a total of 47 million views. So they're 3.5 times more than what I have. So that's significant. And again, if we look at their videos, I mean, 1.5 million views here, 3.3 million views here, 1.1 million views here, 6.6 million views here, 2.5 million views here. So this is real money. Again, even like with 1.5 million views, I don't care what your CPM, you're gonna be bringing money home. And so what a lot of people don't really think about as these YouTube content creators are trying to change these rules or trying to enforce an interpretation of fair use rules is that they're making a lot of money off of this, and they stand to make a lot more money off of this. There's this whole idea, they're doing this for the good of YouTube. They're doing this for the good of the platform. Bite me. They're doing this for the good of their damn bank accounts, right? Because, and that's one of the things that comes up with a lot of these YouTube content creators when we start talking about fair use, is you hear so much of the argument that half of what is on YouTube is all based off of somebody else's intellectual property. So therefore, we have to support what the hell they're doing, because if you don't, like 50% of the videos off of YouTube will disappear. At which point you think about it, and you're like, well, or we can just be more creative. And so why this is important is, when we start talking about fair use, and we start talking about a lot of the arguments that come up with fair use on YouTube, what you'll notice is so many of these arguments about fair use are about the Fine Brothers. Or they're about H3 versus the Bold Guy, or whatever his name is, or this or that or the other thing. One of the things you'll notice with all the fair use arguments, and this is something curious, again, to think about, when we talk about, making the world a better place and making YouTube a better place, when we talk about fair use, we're not talking about videos of Hillary Clinton. We're not talking about videos of Donald Trump. We're not talking about some videos of some Republican attorney general, ass humping, some gay person in the toilet. We're not talking about videos. When we talk about fair use, we're not talking about SOPA. We're not talking about showing laws or any of that kind of stuff. When we're talking about fair use, we're talking about again, all these people using other people's intellectual property. And so the issue that comes up is, so we have a lot of people that are creating a lot of content for money based off of other people's intellectual property. Again, fair use. We're not arguing about, Prime Minister Modi or whatever in India and how he deals with Muslims, right? If we're going to have arguments about fair use, that's where I would think this comes up, because there's this whole thing with Modi and how riots and Muslims and all that kind of stuff. So if we're going to talk about fair use and we're going to scream about how we need to make the platform or whatever, that is what you would think. Or Erdogan, I can't say his name, President of Turkey, right? You know how he shuts down, social media sites kind of willy-nilly. Again, that's a question for fair use. But again, you have to think about it. We're not arguing about the Panama Papers. We're not arguing about somebody showing snippets of the Panama Papers, and then those videos getting taken down. We're talking about H3H3 showing clips of the Bold Guy and getting taken down. Right? And so you have these channels which are financial interest to keep things going that are focused on other people's intellectual property. And when you look at it, I would argue that they are just beating the crap out of the whole fair use doctrine. Because again, like when you look at H3 and if you look at their video, the thing that they say is we did not use the entire Bold Guy video when we did the reaction video to it. We only used 3 minutes. And so it's fair use because we didn't use the entire video. Right? So a 14-minute video, they used 3 minutes of it. Well, but then you think about it and you're like, well, where did this whole using the entire video come from? And the whole using the entire video come from thing did not come from copyright law, did not come from Congress, did not come from President Obama. That comes from YouTube's policies. And YouTube's policies simply state that you cannot use somebody else's content in whole. But again, we talk about things like laws and terms of service and all that kind of stuff. That's a term of service. That's a rule for YouTube. That's not a rule for copyright. That's simply a rule for YouTube. That's a really easy way for YouTube to be able to get rid of a lot of piracy, right? If you simply say you can't use the entirety of a video, then it's really easy to scan through and see if they use the entirety of a video, right? If a video was 15 minutes and 33 seconds long, and your video is 15 minutes and 33 seconds long, that's just, again, like I say, YouTube is about bits and bytes. It's about binary. Does this equal that? If that equals that, then it's really easy to just shit can it, right? If that doesn't equal that, well, then we got to have the human people take a look at it, right? But that's not copyright law. That's just a rule of fucking YouTube to make things easier and to make it a lot more obvious because, again, especially with people doing long-form content, by saying you can't use the whole of a video, because I used the whole of a video once, and I got smacked on the nose for it. So back when Amazon came out with their Amazon drone, when I did a daily blob show, my daily blob shows were 2 to 3 hours long, and so I showed the entire drone video, which was 2 minutes. So again, out of 2 hours, 2 minutes was nothing, right? But, simply by saying you can't use the whole of the video, then again, for these people who do long videos, again, I talk into a video camera for an hour and a half, then I can't try to claim the whole thing of, oh, well, I only used a 2-minute video, and maybe it's like, no, you can't use the entirety of a video. But then the question comes up, though, is it a legitimate argument to say, well, we only used 3 minutes of the video, even though our entire thing was 14 minutes? And then again, like I say, it goes back to the question of, was that the least that was required in order to make your point, right? And if it's not, again, it's not about 3 minutes out of a 14 minutes video. It is what is the least that is required to get your point across. Because again, when with the whole use of fair use, I should be able to talk about something. I should be able to show you something. But in doing that, I shouldn't take away from the content creator. It actually should essentially be, at the end of the day, a form of advertising for the content creator. So again, you do a Google search for H3H3. You go take a look at Philip DeFranco. I don't have it down in the corner. I don't show you the best parts. You can go and figure out the best parts. And so why this is important and why this worries me is because, to use a porn term, what I'm really concerned about with this whole interpretation of fair use is that these content creators are essentially going to start trying to steal the money shots out of the videos that we create. We creative people, these non-reactive, non-whatever, stealing other people's intellectual property shit, we who actually sit there and go, I understand what copyright law is, I want to stay the hell away from fair use, I want to stay away from, having to go to court, therefore I'm going to create something that is creative enough, I don't have to fucking worry about court. Right? If H3H3 try to take this video to their lawyer and take me to court, the lawyer wouldn't do it because it would be in violation of their ethics. There's nothing here, right? But my concern is, like, if you look at porn, right? Using porn, hey, porn is real. There's that whole idea of the money shot. There's that whole idea of the build-up and then the boom. That's what you're working towards, right? And so there's a lot of argument. There's a lot of argument that out of a fucking 2-hour... Oh, you young people with your porn clips. You don't know what it was like back in the day when you had to sit through a 2-hour VHS videotape trying to find that fucking money. Anyways, all right. But there's a build-up for that. And so what concerns me when they start trying to define fair use under this whole 3-minute thing, 14-minute thing, is basically what they can do is they can go through all of these people's 10-minute, 20-minute, 40-minute, hour-long videos and grab the coolest parts. They can grab the money shots. They can grab that part that gets people to watch the video. So like with me going when I was in Pattaya, right? Imagine for a second, I have more than 5,000 subscribers. But, I was going through Pattaya, and I was walking in Pattaya, and I was talking about things one day, and I'm walking along the beach, and there are these sandbag things in front of me, and I'm sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, my feet go out from under me, I hit the ground, I'm just blah, 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 right? And that was hilarious. That was awesome, right? My wife was laughing her asses off. Many people were laughing their asses off. So that whole hour-long video, there's that one part that makes it amazing, right? So think about it. Me as a content creator, that's the kind of thing I like. Because here's the thing. If you don't know exactly where that is in the video, that means you're going to want to see me fall on my ass in real time. So you're going to watch the whole video until it happens. It happens like the 18-minute mark, right? And it's hilarious and it's funny. And so you folks get a laugh. I get you folks to watch the video. We are all happy. We are all great. Well, if we start defining fair use as amounts of time, then basically what these people can do is they can go through and they can grab those sections of the video. So instead of you watching 18 minutes until I fall on my ass, they can do compilation and reaction videos. Watch Eli fall on his ass. And they take it from 10 seconds before I fall on my ass to 10 seconds after. We only took 20 seconds of the video. But realistically, those might be the most valuable parts of that entire video. And if you take that, you may be literally eviscerating the value of the video for me. And so what you're seeing with the YouTube community is that, again, people that are making money off of this platform are poor-mouthing, talking about how they're being abused by the legal system, all the while what I would argue is that they are eviscerating other content creators. And so this goes back to the question of who gets to define who is a bully, right? Because all these people, all these YouTube content creators have gathered around H3H3, and Philip DeFranco is fighting the fight for fair use, and Fine Brothers. How stupid are people? This is what I don't understand with people. 1 minute they're screaming at Fine Brothers for trying to trademark React, and that's horrible, and that's awful, and that's evil. Fine, whatever, right? But then, a copyright fair use lawsuit comes up, and they can donate money, and they donate 10,000 money to this fair use lawsuit, and everybody seems to gloss over the fact that all they do is reaction videos. So it's a bit like that whole trademark thing. It is literally just as nefarious, if not more nefarious, than the whole React trademark issue. Because if they can fund somebody else's lawsuit to define into common law an interpretation of fair use that fits their business model, that's almost better than a damn React video, right? Better than a React trademark. Because if they can get that into common law, then that's all, right? But again, everybody, well, look, even the Fine brothers, they're now good people. They're not good people. They're industry fucking insiders playing the system. It is literally more insidious than the React trademark. And yet everybody's all like, yes, right? Hey, imagine that. A company that creates React videos with 40 to 50 employees gives $10,000 in donations to help fight a lawsuit in order to relax the interpretation of fair use. Right? If they were a tobacco company, or if they were a coal company, or if they were any of these evil companies, they would be fucking lambasted for doing something like this. And yet, oh no, right? Because all these YouTube people, they want fair use to be interpreted this way. So you got Philip DeFranco, and you got the Fine brothers on there, and you got Leafy is Here on there, and you got frickin' Boogie or Francis or whatever the hell his name is, right? And so they're all arguing, and basically what they're saying is they're defining this as Matt Haas, the bold guy, is the bully. Right? Isn't this interesting? They are defining Matt Haas as the bully and his legal team as the bully and making themselves the victims, the defenders. When honestly, truth be told, I mean, I hope they don't get sued for too much, but I hope they lose badly. I really do. And again, before anybody thinks this is clickbait, one, the title of this video is not clickbait, and two, I've talked about this whole fair use thing quite a bit. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy the property that content creators create. This is our property. This is where the value for what we do comes from. Again, I talked about this in one of these videos about the whole grind thing, where one of my videos, the introduction to hacking video, has brought me a lot of money, like $50,000 over the years, right? Here's the thing, not all my videos do that. Let me tell you, right? I've got 1,000 videos. I've got 1,000 videos on Eli the Computer Guy. And literally, Introduction to Hacking brought like 2.3% of all my revenue for the past 28 days. And so if you look at it, out of 1,000 videos, essentially I have 10% of my videos that pay me, and I've got 90% of my videos that was crap I threw against the wall and it didn't go anywhere. Again, Introduction to Hacking has been lots of money. On the other hand, Introduction to SEO, man, I did this whole SEO series. I thought that was going to be awesome. And it's got like, I don't know, 5,000 views or something, right? Because that's the thing, like as content creators, we don't know what content we'll take, especially like real content creators. Not this freaking cookie cutter drama reaction crap that people are doing, but people that are actually trying to create real content. The thing is, when you're trying to create real new content, some of it works. Some of it works amazingly well. Some of it pays you amazingly well. Others don't. Others, it's not worth the bits and bytes that you took to store the video. I'm telling you, I've got like at least 100 videos. So with me, my videos are 30 minutes to 2 hours long. And I can tell you, I've got at least 100 that I can tell you would not be worth storing on a CD. Like if you said, oh, you're gonna lose all these videos, do you want to store them to a CD? I'd be like, at least 100. I'll be like, you know what? The 25 cents for that CD or the 5 cents for that CD, it ain't worth it, to be honest with you, right? But that's the thing, is we have the value in these small. And so the issue is you now have the reaction channels, and you have the Philip DeFrancos, and we have the H3H3s, and you have all these people that are feeding off of other people's legitimate content creations. And then, I mean, that is something that we need to be worried about. Because if you go through other people's videos and you grab essentially the money shots and you take those as your own, you really are destroying value for those content creators. And then, like they brought up in the H3H3 getting sued, they were talking about brand confusion, which again, it's a fucking real concept. Right? So brand confusion is the idea is when you click on a picture, or when you click on a video, or you pick up an item in the store, that you think it is a different brand than it is. So let's say I go to Thailand and I'm looking for toothpaste and I pick up a tube of blue and white toothpaste that says Quest. Now it's blue and white and it has the same picture, so I think it's Crest. So I trust Crest. I want to buy Crest. I don't want to buy Quest. And so I go and I buy Quest, and then that steals the money because, again, you know, Crest pay, I mean, whether or not you like it, they pay for advertising, they pay for name recognition, they pay for all this kind of stuff. So if you go, you want to buy, Under Armour, you don't want to buy Upper Armour, right? Brand confusion. So again, like I say with this, they were talking about how their thumbnail had the other person's picture, and they had reaction to or whatever the person's name, and they said the lawyers were like, well, that's brand confusion. And I have to say, and they said, no, of course that's not brand confusion. Look, we had our own name in the bottom left-hand corner. But here's the thing, anybody who uses YouTube any amount of time knows is there's a lot of brand confusion out there. It really fucking sucks. Like, you want something, I want Louis Rossmann, God knows what the hell I get sometimes, right? And what they said is, well, it's obvious to anybody. It was just us in the beginning for 2 or 3 minutes just talking, so it's obvious it wasn't him. Well then, but you think about it, and the thing is, again, if you have real YouTube content creators, if you have people that are really doing things that aren't cookie cutter, then you're not really sure what every video's got to look like. Again, so many of these YouTube content creators are so funny. They talk about creativity. Oh, we're so creative. Like, again, Santoro or whatever. Oh yeah, you're so fucking creative. Top 10 lists. Wow, mind-blowing, right? But again, if some people are out there and actually doing creative things, who knows? Maybe the setup to the video is 2 wackadoodles talking for 2 minutes. And then he'll go and do some weird-ass parkour. Wow! Right? Maybe that's a setup. Okay, these people are talking 2 minutes, and then he's gonna come in and parkour and seduce their asses. I mean, you really know, again, if anybody's being really creative. But again, that's the thing, is people click. And what you have to realize, especially in the content world, is that time is money. Time is the resource that we're fighting for as content creators. It's not money. Again, money comes from ad revenue, and money comes from sponsorships, and money comes from other things. So the resource that we're trying to get out of our viewership, the resource that we're trying to get out of our customers or clients, is their time. That is the thing that has value. And so, as I talk about, when I go to click on videos, many times I go to click on a video when I have a short amount of time. So, like back when I was doing the Skype meetings, I do back-to-back Skype meetings, and Skype meetings will last as long as they last, right? So I gave the person an hour, but sometimes they'd only need half an hour, sometimes they need 45 minutes. So, if I've got a 15-minute break between one person and the next person, I would then go on and I would look for Vlogbrothers, or I'd look for Louis Rossmann, or I'd look for something that's short, Wheezy Waiter, or something like that. And so you don't think about the damage, but if I'm looking for Wheezy Waiter, or if I'm looking for Vlogbrothers, or I'm looking for something like that, and there's brand confusion, and I click on somebody else's video, and then I'm watching that video, it really is stealing views from other content creators, because once I realize the video is not what I was looking for, I click it off and I realize, oh, well, fuck it, my time's already burned. Maybe I'll watch it later, right? So brand confusion is a real thing. And so this is what worries me, like I say, with the whole fair use and the H3H3. And it's interesting to see how people start defining who the bully is and who the victim is. I would argue highly that the content creators, Philip DeFranco, fuck you. I like your content. I watch you every day, but fuck you, right? H3H3, I don't watch any of your shit. Yeah, right? These are the bullies. These are the bullies, right? And so the issue that then comes up, and that's again where you think about like defining bullies and all that kind of thing, is you have this watershed moment. So Matt Haas, or bold guy, sues H3H3. They get all this money. They then put it into this escrow or this other entity. And then the question then comes up. Again, there's this whole idea, the bullies. The bullies use the legal system to push down other folks. Well, now, if you have a legal defense fund of $50 or $100 or $150,000 that you have the ability to control who it goes to, you now have a lot of power. A lot of power. And again, you think about that, and how much power can they have? But you look at this whole Hulk Hogan against Gawker case. So there's this guy, Peter Thiel, right? Venture capitalist, a bunch of stuff, right? So he's gay, apparently. Hearsay says he's gay. I'm not saying he's gay, they say he's gay, right? And apparently Gawker Media outed him back in like 2008. Apparently it was a well-known secret, as they say. And for whatever reason, Gawker Media decided to run an article about Peter Thiel being gay. Peter Thiel was not fucking happy about this. Again, it may have been a well-known secret, but it was still considered a secret, still considered not something to be saying, at least especially in the newspaper, and he got pissed to all high hell. Problem was, he was in fact gay, so it wasn't slander, it wasn't libelous, and so there wasn't anything he could do about it. Right? Somebody says he's gay, he actually is gay, Gawker reports that he's gay, and he's really fucking pissed, but there's nothing you can do about it. So he sits there, and he creates a legal fund, like a $10 million legal fund, apparently. And he used that legal fund to help fund Hulk Hogan, just went after Gawker Media for the sex tape that they published. So I guess there's a Hulk Hogan sex tape. I never saw it. God. If there's something, the only thing I can imagine worse than thinking about my parents having sex is Hulk Hogan having sex. Like, there's no part of like a 70-year-old Hulk Hogan having sex I want anything to do with. But apparently. So, Peter Thiel helps finance Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker to literally destroy Gawker. So it's got to be appealed, but Hulk Hogan won $140 million in the lawsuit. $140 million will literally destroy Gawker. Gawker goes away. So somebody with a very big legal fund, using that legal fund to finance people that have legitimate grievances against a party that they want to destroy. And so you think, with Ethan and all this kind of stuff now, however much money that they're actually going to use for the court case. I mean, they said $100,000 for this court case, which seems like a lot of money. Honestly, that seems like a lot of money for that kind of court case, but who knows? Let's imagine, again, that they only spend, like, say, $50,000 of it. And that leaves at least $100,000 in the fund. And again, when you figure a lot of these copyright complaints and a lot of those kind of things are by small content creators going back and forth now, $100,000 in a fund can push things in very significant ways. And again, once case law is written, once people win one way or the other, that is now case law. The copyright suit of 2016, Matt Haas or whatever, versus H3H3, this is how it panned out. So if they can use that money to very specifically target weak cases, or not even weak cases, weak legal combatants. Again, as a lawyer friend of mine said, it's not a case. It's not a court of justice. It's a court of law. And it's not only just a court of law. It's really a court of argument. Who argues better, right? So if we're trying to create case law, what I would do is I would find somebody to pick a fight with that wouldn't be smart enough to get a good lawyer, right? Because again, lawyers cost good lawyers cost anywhere between $350 an hour to $1,000 an hour. So I go and I would attack somebody that doesn't know any better, who probably is going to hire a $100 an hour lawyer, like a general practice lawyer. So you're getting sued about YouTube, and so you go to a general practice lawyer accepts your case, and you don't realize that the video game attorney or whoever else that highly specialize in YouTube cases is going to be the one on the other side. And so it's not a court of justice, it's not a court of law, it's a court of argument. You come into a machine gun fight with a Nerf gun, you get fucking eviscerated in court. And then that now defines case law as far as fair use and all that is concerned. And so if they can use a fund like that to target just enough cases, just enough weak people, they can then shift the legal standing of what fair use is, and they can eviscerate the folks that think they're all smoking crack. Again, who is the bully? Who is the bully? Right? And again, like I say, with this, we talk about the legal system. I'm not saying it's right that H3 should worry about having to pay $100,000 to go to court. Again, there are, again, I'm not saying Matt Haas is the best example of a claimant or of a prosecution or whatever. Again, all cases you look at, unfortunately, very situational, and you look at them, you're like, this has some very good points and some very bad points. But the question is again, who gets to define what? And it's very interesting how people can use the definition of something like bully to push their viewpoint through, even when it oppresses some people. Again, like I say, I highly disagree with this, right? I highly disagree with this. But they can use the word bully. We're getting bullied about copyright. You're not getting bullied, you're getting smacked because you're doing stupid shit. Right? But again, and this goes back to that whole thing. Again, I talk about, like I say, I reiterate. And again, the whole Socratic argument. When you say bully, when you say we are being bullied, what does that actually mean? Right? Are you being bullied? Or are you really in that gray area where some people would side against you? And again, like I say, with this whole fair use thing, I side against a lot of these folks. I will go to the mat on this whole idea of YouTube needs to be about more creativity. More creativity. Again, if you look at all my videos, I've got 2,500, 3,000. I mean, just thousands of hours of video. And I don't want to get too cocky. But as far as copyright's concerned, again, without scanning through all of them, I have to say, I'm pretty damn sure I'd stand behind anyone that you could find. Like, again, like it may run afoul of YouTube's copyright thing. Maybe. But as far as a court of law, I don't think I have done a single thing that you could legitimately take me to court for. Like, where I couldn't literally end up suing your lawyer for whatever the hell it is, reckless. Because you can actually do that. Like, if you get sued for, like, stupid fucking reasons, like that 65-year-old grandma realizes this is stupid, you really can actually go after them. And I don't think there's anything in any of my stuff that comes anywhere close. Like, if anybody did try to sue me, I'd just be like, great, you're going to pay for my next vacation. Right? And that's where, like I say, with this stuff, who is the bully? Because I feel, and again, like Boogie says, he's all worried about how people look at him. Well, great. All those 14-year-olds are on board with you, man. I can tell you, as an adult, you're pissing me the fuck off. Right? I mean, Boogie and Francis and all that, it's just like, you're trying to define fair use in a way that profits you. And if that isn't a fucking bastard, bullyish way of doing things, I don't know what is, right? So again, That's the thing to be thinking about. Think about who really is the bully. Because again, like I say, we define these people. It's so, in this modern world, there's this labeling thing. And then we label people, and then again, everybody else gets on board with that label. Everybody else is like, oh, you called him a bully. Well, I can't support bullies, so I'm against that person too. And again, they don't think, and they don't stand up on their own, and they don't argue anything. They just go along. And so what you find so much is people get labeled something. That person is, and then everybody goes along with that. Again, if you look at like what Trump is doing, and I don't really want to get into that too much because again, I hate this entire presidential election campaign. I don't like any of them. So I don't want to seem like I support any of them. I just wish we could wipe the slate clean. It's like, maybe Rubio. I don't know. Can we go back to Rubio? Can we go back to like Martin O'Malley and Rubio? I didn't want either of those two people before, but now I'd like them back. Now, I'd like to be like, can we do a do-over? Can we do it? Now that we see how this all fleshed out, can we have Martin O'Malley and Rubio go at it? But if you look, that's the thing. And I think one of the reasons why Trump is successful is because he labels people. You know, that person is this, that person is that person is the other thing. And so you don't want to support that label, right? I don't want to support somebody who's low energy. You're not gonna vote for somebody who's low energy, right? So low energy, you know, you don't want to vote for, you know, whatever, the woman, you know, somebody like that, right? But anyways, that is my thought. So as far as all the bullying is going, yeah, I really hate bullies, H3H3 and Philip DeFranco. Yeah, I agree, Philip DeFranco. I agree. We should eliminate bullies. I agree. You should stop bullying people, Philip. I'm just saying. And you know it's true, because again, as I say, there's no clickbait title here. If you watch this video, it's because you're watching me, not because you came here for a random ass reason. But again, like I say, it's important to think about. And again, this is where I want you folks to be thinking, even if you don't agree with me on this, right? Even if you think Matt Haas is an idiot and you think, again, I want you to really look at the situation. And again, like I say, as far as we're calling bullying is concerned, so Matt Haas does a lawsuit against H3H3, and that's considered bullying. But now they did this video to their 1.5 million subscribers. Philip DeFranco did his video to 6 or whatever million subscribers. And now, if you go to the Bold Guys channel, if you go to the Bold Guys Facebook page or any of the other social networking sites, all you see is all this excrement. All you see is this evisceration. All you see is this nastiness, this horribleness. And again, who's bullying who? Who's bullying whom? Whom is bullying whom? And again, there's more of a question here. And I think if you look at it that way, if you think about things and if you ask questions, again, like I say, at the end of the day, I think you'll be better off. And again, one of the things that you have to understand, like one of the reasons why I've been successful in life, and one of the reasons why significant people listen to me, is because at the end of the day, logic almost always wins. Right? So like when I was looking at the startup community and I saw a lot of absurd things, like with the accelerators. So like way back when, I called out the accelerators hardcore. Like the startup accelerators, I mean, I fucking lambasted the accelerators publicly. Back when nobody lambasted the accelerators publicly. When all you ever heard about startup accelerators was how wonderful they were, I went to the mat and just fucking eviscerated a number of them very publicly. And here is the thing, a lot of people were horrified. And a lot of people said, I shouldn't have said that. And a lot of people said, well, Eli, if you were as smart as you think you are, blah, 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 blah. And then 6 months, a year later, you start seeing a lot of the startup disasters 6 months, a year later, you start to see in a lot of the startup magazines the whole thing with an overabundance of startup accelerators, a lot of startups failing, that basically these startup accelerators take equity from the companies but don't actually provide anything. Then you start to see more and more people become involved with the accelerators and then see how horribly they're working. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people that are significant in the community think, about 6 months ago, Eli was screaming to high hell about how stupid this shit was before everything blew up. And he was willing to give everybody the middle finger because the numbers worked out in his head. And again, if you start looking at things logically, and that's the thing, is people start paying attention to you and they start giving you respect when you are right and you argue your point before anybody knows you're right. While right now, when everybody's talking about Matt Haas being the bully, while everybody's talking about where's the fair use and all that kind of stuff, right? A lot of people are going to give me hate, and a lot of people are going to be mean, and a lot of people are going to be snarky. But here's the thing, in a year, in 2 years, when more and more content creators are getting screwed because of their intellectual property theft, that's going to be like, hey, remember when Eli was talking about this shit 2 years ago? Remember when he was screaming about how where's the fair use is a stupid fucking movement? And that we are going to remember fondly the days when all we had to worry about was DMCA? Again, like I say, like I was having this conversation, again, as I say, with grade A, under A, because we go back and forth every once in a while. Back when a lot of this stuff was happening. And, I told him before these lawsuits, I told him, I was like, we are going to fondly remember the days of DMCA. Because what so many people don't even realize is DMCA is about the platform. It's not about the content creators. Right? But again, when you're willing to go toe to toe before anybody else sees it, that's when people start paying attention to you. Because they know you will fight for what you believe, even when everybody is against you. And they know that you see things other people don't see. Because again, right, where you profit, again, this is one of the things to think about, like with profit, and we call outsized profit. And again, as I talk about, you make $10 a day for a year, and then in one day you make $300,000. Outsized profit. How you make outsized profit in the business world is you see something nobody else sees. Right? I talked with one person who created a web hosting company, and billionaire, literally a billionaire. And again, web hosting wasn't any more complicated back 20 years ago than it is now, but saw websites as the future, went hardcore into web hosting. And I mean, fought, money and all of that to build that thing before anybody saw how powerful web hosting would be. And then he now gets to be a billionaire. Again, like I say, with startups, with any of this kind of stuff, it's the first mover or the second mover advantage. Again, like if you're going to create accelerators or if you're going to do something, it's about being there in the very beginning. And so people, decision makers and people with money and people with resources and people with power, they pay attention to the people that very logically scream about something. The people that are just going batshit crazy, they don't pay attention to them because they're just batshit crazy. But the people that sit there with a fucking stack of paperwork, or they say, I can show you the numbers, I can show you the case law, I can show you the documentation about why what is happening right now is asininely stupid. Right? And so that's one thing I would have you think about, is start thinking about your organization. Start thinking about the environment you are in. And start seeing where people are just lemmings doing what they've always been told to do, and where that is ineffective or wrong. And then start fighting those fights. Because that is where people pay attention to you. It really is. True. Like one of the stories, like way back when I was an employee doing repair, or doing support services. And that was one of the things, because it was like we were meeting with our boss, and so it was me and I had my partner, and we had offices throughout the Northeast, and we had all this stuff, and it was very hard to keep up with. And so that was one of the reasons I got respect from my boss is we were sitting there, the boss had flown in, and I looked at my boss and said, look, we can barely keep up as it is with two people. With two people, we can keep up. But what happens, and that's what I say, what happens when I go snowboarding, because I was a young guy, what happens when I go snowboarding, I flip over something and I rip my leg off? How the hell is my partner going to keep up? And I remember my partner laughed at me. Fucking laughed. She was older. She was like 20 years older than me. And ha ha ha, look at Eli being stupid again. Well, here's the thing. I sat there and I stuck by my guns. I was like, look, what happens if I get hurt badly? And I said, what happens if I get hurt badly, right? Oh. God damn. I swear, a month later, she's walking out the back door of her house to take out the garbage. There's a patch of ice she doesn't see, slips off, fucking shatters her hip. Not even joking, right? Out for 8 months. I can tell you what, my boss from that point on damn near gave me whatever I wanted. Because I was the one person, while my partner was laughing at me about something, said, I don't give a shit what she said. Look, this is serious, right? And that's the thing, is like fighting the fights that you know. And again, like I say, with life, if you look at things logically, everything always progresses the same way. Again, you know, like the boom bust cycles. Like when I closed down my business, you know, I was in that really depressed mode after I closed down my shop, and I spent a summer learning about the Gilded Age. Vanderbilt, you know, I read about Vanderbilt, and I read about Rockefeller, and I read about Carnegie, all those people. There's lots of people there. So I read like, I don't know, 8 books or whatever, all about money. And then I read some of the stuff that was going on at the time about money. And like I say, that's one of the things that you see with money and the economics, is everything follows cycles. And you think about, you know, the bust of the housing market, and the boom of the housing market, and the bust of the internet bubble, and the boom of the internet bubble, and the bust of the savings and loan, and the boom of the savings and loan. But really, I probably just lost a lot of you folks at the savings and loan scandals. But the reality is if you look, we are on about a decade cycle. Like right now, it's kind of screwed up. But if you look, every 10 years there's a boom and bust of something. Like a lot of people don't realize there was a boom and bust of trains, the railway system. Like, because when they were doing railways, you don't think about it now, but they were laying down railways, just like the telco companies were laying down fiber optic at a certain point. Like they were just laying down so much railways in the mid 1800s. And everybody's going to make a fortune off railways. But again, just like with fiber, they laid way too much of it into places nobody gave a damn about. And so the entire market collapsed. And then, when the railways went from being worth, you know, $1 million down to being worth $10,000, then people came in and said, well, we couldn't make a profit off of it, you know, at the actual cost. But now these companies have gone bankrupt, we can't make a profit off of it now that it's this low. And then that was the actual boom of rail travel in the United States. The boom. And again, that's where you think about things. Like I say, like economically, there's the economic boom of something. There's the bubble. Then there's the collapse, where all those financial people take a huge haircut because all those companies go bankrupt. But then the value of all that property that was created then sinks down to such a degree that new companies can then come in and actually build something at profit. Like right now, I'm reading about the Panama Canal. It was really interesting, like, because there's so much stuff with the Panama Canal you don't even realize. And that was a thing. Like originally, the U.S. wanted to create the Panama Canal to create the canal through Nicaragua. Well, the thing was, the French went in and totally fucked up building the canal, but they accomplished a lot, just not nearly enough to actually build the canal. And so that was the thing, is they built they dredged a lot of stuff, and they had all this equipment there, and they had a railway there, and they had all this stuff there. Well then, basically the French company goes bankrupt. They go from trying to sell their assets for like $100 million way back when, down to something like $20 or $40 million. Well, so what made the Panama Canal affordable for the U.S. to do in Panama wasn't ingenuity. It wasn't that we had better engineers. It wasn't that we had better equipment. It was because all those poor French bastards that invested into the French company essentially went bankrupt, wiped out all the money that they had invested, and that we could come in and buy everything pennies on the dollar. But again, like I say, it's all these cycles. And they're the same cycles that happen over and over and over and over and over again. And so if you're just the person just to raise your hand and start going batshit, because, hey, look, didn't we just do this crap not that long ago? Again, that is a valuable thing. So that is my thought there. That is my thought on bullies and labeling and all those kind of things. Think about why you're calling the bully the bully. Again, like I say, like with bosses. Oh, the boss is the bully or whatever. And think about it. Is the boss really the bully? Or is the boss just telling you to abide by the rules you agreed to? Right? Again, if the boss is giving you a bunch of rules or a bunch of stuff that you never implicitly or explicitly agreed to, then they may be a bully. Or is the boss just telling you to do what you agreed to do when you were hired? You just, now that you're actually doing the work, you don't really like it. Right? Because again, like I say, with bosses, like they get called bullies, they get called all kinds of nasty stuff for just having you do your damn job. So anyways, that is my thought for the day. This will get published on Monday, so we can get a little bit of that backlog going. And I will probably do another video tomorrow after I do some more housework. I do have to say, it is nice not having the wife around. With the quietness, I can get a lot of housework done. A lot of that construction stuff. Manly construction stuff done. But anyways, I think I might go buy a tub of ice cream. I haven't had ice cream for a while. And that's the thing, like with my eating habits, like there's some things bother me with indigestion, and then other things just kind of screw with me, like with insomnia. And so one of the reasons why I don't like dealing with insomnia, because then I wake up my wife and it throws everything out of whack. So like sugar can give me insomnia sometimes. But that's the thing, if she's not here, then it really doesn't matter how well I sleep tonight, and it really doesn't matter if I wake up at 7 in the morning or 11. Yeah. Welcome to adulthood. If nothing else, watching these vlogs, you will understand the reality of being an adult. Adults really do go, I can eat ice cream tonight. Oh, crikey. In so many ways, I did that video yesterday about how you don't imagine what the world will be like in 20 years. In so many ways, I did not imagine how the world will be like in 20 years. I would not have imagined when I was 20 that I'd have to wait for my wife to go out of town to eat ice cream. But anyways, that's how it goes. So with that, we'll call it a day, and we'll see you folks tomorrow.